Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of the Pixel Crashers podcast where we discuss our thoughts on gaming news. I am Angelus de Mortiel, together with Kev the Gamer.
I don't have anything good for this week.
Major Stupidity.
What's up, everyone?
And Death Shroud 09.
How's it going?
Trying to sound like an 80-year-old smoker.
He's doing a very good job of it. When he gave his girlfriend at work with the Darth Vader voice. Is she into it?
Hey, I'm just saying he must have been inspired by Deadpool as well.
Aren't we all inspired by Deadpool?
I think
Yes.
I think you guys would have to see the movie before you can claim that.
No, I watched it. I watched it
Hey,
last night.
I was aware of Deadpool before the movie.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying the movie, just amazing. It was
It's
the
very
best.
good,
It was so worth skipping the podcast last week. So worth it. So worth it.
Oh, man.
I hope you got cooties.
Yeah. Like seriously, at what point you have a fourth wall break inside of a fourth wall break?
Was that
All
like
he talking
16
about is
walls?
I got to go see a girl.
Oh no, that's a girl I see all the time. Let's be honest.
And she's probably sitting next to you.
No. I
Sorry,
really
July.
wish she would, because then I could have someone to actually, manage the stream and that sort of thing. But yeah,
She'd moderate, so we don't have to try to get Joe to.
yeah, exactly, pretty much. Anyway, so we're back into our normal swing of things after I missed last week, and I apparently Kev just dissed on me for 5 hours of live stream time. So,
Pretty much.
we're back to the normal thing, and we're back to the games we played this week. So, Kev, as I can remember your name, Kev, what games have you played this week?
Broken Fighter 4. Because for some reason, they had 4 betas. It still launched broken. It works great now. But for the first couple days, them servers, man, were not the truth. And there isn't much going on for single player, which is fine. Because I got it to whoop ass online. But it would still be nice to, have traditional single player stuff.
Yeah, well, you also have this wonderful thing about Street Fighter is that game's been around for how long now? Like Street Fighter 5? That's
Just
been...
the 80s. Oh,
Well,
Street Fighter 5
not. I'm meaning as in like.
is in the IP. It is in Street Fighter 5 itself.
Yeah, Street Fighter 5 has been around for a year now, right?
No, those were all betas. The official release was
Seriously?
this past week.
Seriously?
Yeah, so they had 4 fucking betas.
4 betas and you can't get the launch right.
It was the servers. The port is excellent. It's fun
It's
to
always
play.
the servers.
Yeah, it was just the servers. It was like I thought Master Chief Collection was bad. No, at least Master Chief Collection, you had like a shit ton of single player content.
At what point you're saying it's worse than Massive?
No, I said it's Master Chief Collection status. But then I thought about it. Nah, Master Chief Collection.
And
had
I just
4
want to know,
single-player games.
Sean Stone, can you please refrain from putting spoilers in the chat, or we'll time you out. I'm just throwing that out there, man.
What spoiler did he put?
Don't ask. I'm not gonna say. If you
I don't
haven't
care
seen-
about. Is it Deadpool spoiler?
Yes.
'Cause I don't even care.
Yeah, see, we don't do Star Wars
I
spoilers.
haven't
we
even
don't
seen
do
Star
Deadpool
Wars.
spoilers.
I haven't even seen Star Wars, and I had it all spoiled for me, and I'm just like,
Well, that's because you don't care about spoilers.
The thing about
I just do.
I'm not even
I just
watching the
don't care
chat.
about some spoilers.
the thing about Deadpool.
Should I
is
spoil
that-
Star Wars, everyone?
The thing about Deadpool
Who
is
knew?
that, in my opinion, most of the movie was already spoiled by the trailers.
They always do that.
At what
They
point?
always
No,
trailer-
it
trailers.
wasn't. No, it wasn't. There, no.
Like honestly, like
close.
some of the best
They
scenes
they
were in the
re-rolled
trailers.
like the same footage, like and chopped it in 20 different ways
They
for
did,
the trailer.
yeah, but still.
So
like,
they didn't give you really anything for that trailer. Let's be honest here.
I mean, I watched all the trailers, so maybe it was different for me.
It might have been, but I've watched pretty much all of them. I've been hyped for that movie since I first heard it
Oh.
announced, and I was like, no, there's no spoiling that movie. It's because it's not the little
Like that's the thing is, like, how would you even spoil
you
that
can't.
movie, though?
There's really nothing major to spoil except for saying Bueller.
Yeah! But Deadpool doesn't.
No, I'm sorry. There is one major spoiler I can sum up by saying, Feminist Appreciation Day. Travis, if you saw it, you know what I'm talking about.
Ooh, my bad.
Come on, man. Amateur
Oh,
hour.
man.
I'm just installing games. Don't mind me.
See, this is what happens.
I don't know. Maybe if you spoil Stan Lee, like that might be a thing.
Stanley! Stanley, come back!
The opening credits was fantastic of that movie.
You know,
A
my
gratuitous cameo written by an overrated Tool or overpaid Tool. That's it. Directed by an overpaid
think-
Tool.
I directed the movie?
As much as the fourth wall breaking was funny, I thought that the biggest thing was like the references to the other movies.
Oh no, it's just that no, not just the other movies. He's making fun of Ryan Reynolds in the movie.
Well,
Like-
yeah, he like
He makes fun of Ryan Reynolds. He makes fun of everything. Like,
yeah, it's the best.
hey, what's up, Nick?
Hey, what up, Nick?
But yeah, he did no shame. But he definitely takes a jab. There's a little. This doesn't spoil anything about the movie, but he takes a little
Spoilers!
jab at the old Deadpool from the X-Men Origins movie that everybody hated so much. he's like, you know,
Was
when
he in that movie? I haven't even seen it.
I don't
Huh?
remember.
was what?
Was he in that movie?
Ryan Reynolds? Yes.
well,
Deadpool.
He was Wade Wilson in that movie, and he was
Oh.
pissed. The whole
I don't think I've
backstory
seen
to
that
this
movie.
this Deadpool movie getting made was that he was so furious with how they portrayed Deadpool in the X-Men Origins movie that
I
he's
didn't even
been
know he was in
working
X-Men
since
Origins.
that movie launched. He's been working behind the scenes to try to get a proper Deadpool movie made. Like, to the point where the whole leaked footage thing, he had some independent studio make a little, kind of a little test reel of Deadpool that was mostly CGI, but it was all to get Fox to say, hey, people are interested in this. And
Deadpool.
sure the fuck enough, it is breaking sales records all over the damn place.
Well, of
My
course.
question is, who doesn't love Deadpool?
Like, well, I mean, there's some people like,
Spoil sports.
but
No,
like,
I don't mean the movie. I mean like the character Deadpool is amazing.
People
Like,
who
it's
just go
fucking
uptight
hilarious.
about
there's
superheroes.
some people that have sensitive dispositions that can't handle a gratuitous and offensive character.
Oh, you mean the people that used to find The Simpsons? offensive in
And to
the
those
90s,
people,
those
of
guys.
course,
Gotcha.
I say, you know, Deadpool would be happy to shove a chimichanga up your ass.
Chimichangas!
You're not going to find any
Oh.
sympathy on this podcast to that. Like I said,
Didn't they already said they're working on a sequel?
oh yeah, they got confirmed for a sequel. Because you got to think of it. Right now, it's sitting around the $400 million sales mark. It was a
course.
$60 million budget. So they've raked in huge profits.
Damn.
So is
It's-
this going to be probably the Deadpool podcast then tonight?
Yes, apparently so.
Well,
Joe, what
has
games have you
anybody
played
the
this?
Deadpool game?
Zyphon?
And saying that Deadpool does not like Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool doesn't like Deadpool. At least one of his voices doesn't like him. Also, Wolverine doesn't like Deadpool. And
Well, Wolverine's never liked Deadpool.
Cable spends most of his time, just rolling his eyes at Deadpool. So,
See, was
Well,
Cable in
yeah,
the Deadpool
Cable's always
movie?
done that though.
yes, exactly.
I-
That's not in
he
the
was-
movie. That's just I'm talking about
That's
the
just the
actual
character.
comics. Yeah.
Was Cable in the Deadpool movie?
No.
But
I remember some people
it's kind of
talking
weird
about
to
it.
have
Who's gonna
Deadpool.
play
without Cable.
But spoiler alerts, Deadpool said that he's going to be in the next movie.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking
No,
about. That's what I was
the
going to
next
say. You know
movie's
who
not
should
going to be
play
made.
him?
What are you talking about? Gosh,
You know Fox won't let that happen after as big a performance it's
they
had.
don't have the
Hey,
money
you
for
know who
that.
they should get to play Cable? Ron Perlman.
No. There's been people saying that Keira Knightley.
Yeah, I
Knightley.
saw that. I was like, what?
No, there's this like Deadpool joke of Cable being like Keira Knightley, essentially.
But like, no joke though. Ron Perlman, man.
The,
I think he'd be
the problem
great.
is Ron Perlman is really old now.
I know, but
He's
Cable's
back
old
when
as fuck.
back when Serenity was made, Ron Perlman was ancient.
ask Sean Stone.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
No.
He's-
I'm just saying.
the
I'm a
man
big
is
fan. I'm a
65
big
years old.
fan of the Preacher. I'm just saying. I know exactly all about Ron Perlman. I agree with you. If this would have been 15 years ago, back
Aw.
back in
I
the
still think he'd
Firefly
make
days.
a good Cable. He looks
I
the
think they could
part.
do it.
Not as much anymore. He's kind of sick and weakly looking. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
Back whenever
Hollywood
Firefly
will
was
fix
made,
it.
he had the white hair, and the guy was pretty stocky looking. By the time Serenity came around, he was already looking a bit thinner. So that's all I'm saying is that
Hey, Hollywood will fix it.
yeah, if they can fix Arnold Schwarzenegger. Anyway, Joe, what games have you been playing aside from not
Well,
seeing the Deadpool movie?
Did you say rebuild
other
him,
than
make him
other than
stronger?
other than Warframe, let's see, some XCOM 2 still. I started playing Star Wars Republic Commando again,
Oh,
and I was also playing Transistor.
on the sorry, on the Deadpool note, on the XCOM note, I want to throw it out there to everybody that Joe cheats at XCOM. He installed a mod to lengthen the Doom clock in that game.
He also didn't
I
buy
customize my
Transistor. Go family
experience.
share.
Hey, I'll have you know I just bought the album.
And Zyphon,
The
all I'm
Steam
gonna say is
Transistor.
hashtag Team Hello Kitty. Done. Anybody saying Team Cap on here is not gonna find any sympathy either. Okay, but so Transistor, that's obviously been a kind of cult classic. How do you like it?
It's pretty good. I'd started playing it a while back, actually, and never finished it.
Mm.
And so I started playing it again. I like the story. I like the world they set up.
Oh, the world
And I
is
like
amazing.
Oh yeah, I like the gameplay mechanics too. The idea of like you have a mix of you can either do real time or turn based.
Mhm.
Based on when you go into a combat scenario, you can activate what is a tactical mode, and you can choose out your next set of moves that you'll execute. And after the turn's over, you have to wait for your thing to recharge before you can execute another turn. Or you can just fight in real time and activate your abilities without having to worry about any of that.
Yeah, but you can wreck fighting in real time.
Yeah, I use all the turn based. I don't know how anyone
I,
does.
I tried doing real time because I'm not crazy about turn based games. I like XCOM though, oddly enough, but
Yeah.
I didn't even like that. I mean, I like Dragon Age Origins, so I guess I like some.
You know, the thing is I'm gonna
I
have
like
to like start game sharing with Kev because he's got like 50 gazillion games in his Steam library and never
Yes.
plays any of them. He plays like 3 games, so I'm gonna have to like dip into that.
That's what taste test is for. I've been doing taste tests in old school to get some of these games played, because usually the indie games that get slept on.
Yeah.
I've been playing Street Fighter this week when I had time.
Hmm.
I only have like 6 hours in it.
That's
5 to 6.
unfortunate.
But
I'm
yeah,
passing L, so it don't matter.
with Transistor, I was going to say with another thing about the mechanics. I like how what you do is you go in and you select. There's a bunch of different functions, and each one has like 3 different functions. What they do. There's either a primary ability, which is where you have 4 of those where they're your actual attack moves, like your actual move you execute. There is the ability modifier, which is essentially you're allowed to put the function on an existing function, and it alters how it like works in combat. Like take for example, there's an ability that launches out it's basically you launch out a bomb or you launch out like a cluster bomb. If you use that as an ability modifier instead of using it as an active ability, you can put it on one of your other abilities and make it so they suddenly have an explosive area of effect on top of their normal function. And then there's also passives, where they passively give you different things or they change how you operate in combat. So there's a lot of like experimentation, selecting different abilities as your primary abilities, and then selecting what modifiers to kind of give different roles to different abilities to give you a lot of versatility in combat. And what's cool is they mix in the lore with that, where each function is actually based off someone notable inside like the city's, just someone notable in the city. And each one has like their own backstory and everything. And you actually unlock parts of the backstory when you use different functions in different capacities. Like you have to use them both as a main ability, use them as a modifier and as a passive to get the full story on the character. So you are incentivized to experiment with the different abilities even more if you want to get all the backstory and the lore behind these characters.
That is kind of an interesting mechanic, though, on how on tying in lore and story into the actual combat mechanics of the game, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh yeah.
But so I heard this rumor, Joe, that you were live streaming Warframe the first 3 days of this week, or you
You
were
were streaming
or you appeared on a live stream, and
I've streamed with Kev before.
it was a huge hit. Everybody was saying how that you should be on Twitch, and
Hashtag get Joe on Twitch. Joe already has a YouTube channel. He just refuses to post videos to it.
something. So Travis, what have you been playing this week aside from the screaming game, where you lose your throat and your volume's gone? So I guess we're just gonna have to read your lips.
No,
Oh.
I was muted. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
I did not
Right.
mute him.
This week I've been playing. I've been playing Terraria again.
He's been too sick to do anything
Terraria
else.
Master Race.
Yeah, basically. I've just been playing some Terraria. I played a little bit more of Torchlight 2. Just my old fallback games. I haven't gone on to anything new yet.
It's fair enough, though. I mean,
I've
Ferrari's got a
been-
long
although-
replayability to it.
Yes, it does. Although I've been really, really tempted by XCOM 2 to
It's a lot of
try
fun.
and play the first one and maybe buy the second one because I watched a couple of videos on it and it looks like a blast.
It's a lot of fun.
Sean Stone
it
said
is.
he would subscribe to your channel.
I see
or
it. I have
stream,
the
Joe.
chat open. I'm
I'm just,
aware.
just throwing that out there. You already got one fan. Come on
I
now.
subscribe to Joe. I
Yeah.
subscribe if nothing else for the rants.
Yeah.
Because for the people that watch my channel that think my rants are good, listen to Joe. Joe's are gold.
Yep.
We
where
contain
I'm
him
at.
here.
But yeah, this week I've been kind of doing the same. I don't know why I had this week has been so bad for my scatterbrainness, and it kind of showed with my video game things. He'd like jump from Invisible Ink to Oblivion to playing Medieval 2 Total War and then some Warframe. Obviously, I was streaming Warframe the first half of this week. Grinding for Saren, which none of us have yet because grind frame. But
Well, I was telling you guys, my one of my instructors at my college loves grind frame. Apparently, she has Saren.
I
and
have
she's loving it.
Saren, but Saren
Like,
Prime.
One of your
Yes, one of his instructors at his college is a Warframe thing, and I'm like,
Yeah, one of my networking teachers.
come on now, that should be like praise. You should be like, that is awesome.
Well, see, I praised her when she said she plays Neverwinter, but then she was like grind frame. I'm like, but the grind though.
Well, no, wait,
Give her
whoa,
crap for it.
back
Told her
up
to
a
come play
step.
Dark Souls.
Back up a step for me.
Ah.
You criticized her for Warframe for being grindy, but praised her for playing Neverwinter. Have
Because
you
it's not grind frame.
Have you never played Neverwinter?
Nope. Never played Neverwinter.
And for real, man, come on
What's
now.
that?
Quit installing stuff. Like, seriously.
You know what I do is when we start up the podcast, I set it so that my actual audio all comes in through my headset.
Yeah.
Like I don't have anything coming out of the sound bar.
Yeah, but in any case, though,
Just so I can avoid
the
this
major
type of
thing is that Neverwinter is very fucking grindy. Like, it makes Warframe
Of
look
course it
like,
is.
you get guaranteed drops from everything. It's, yeah.
Well, just remember, I like Destiny,
Oh,
Yeah.
and I complain about games with the grind.
mm,
Never-
Trying to mute it.
Friends never let Neverwinter. That's Neverwinter. Come on,
I
man.
just
For
did that
real?
shit.
For real?
I just
Come
did
on.
that shit too.
Professionalism. See, this is showing the Pixel Crashers podcast at its least professional, folks. We're all amateurs after all. We actually are.
Doesn't say.
In any case, so yeah, that's been kind of entertainment. I'm hoping to actually do that more often because usually I, first at least half of the week I usually play a couple hours of Warframe with at least a couple of these jokers, so it's always fun to like stream our interactions because they're pretty funny. And I notice Zyphon quite frequently. He becomes quite a bit more of an entertainer when you put him on stream. He's usually like very reserved and quiet, but then when I say, "Hey, I'm streaming," then all of a sudden he just lights up. Like he just starts like cracking jokes all over the place. He needs a stream. I'm telling you what. He has that outlet for wanting to be an entertainer and doesn't take advantage of it. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get moving on to our first story here.
Before we do that, too, shout out to Sean Stone too, because he put together this little montage, little RPG montage in Battlefield 4. I saw it on the Xbox app. Go check it out. Even if you if you have them on your friends list, of course. Two black cats put together a nice little RPG montage.
I'm just waiting for when 3 black cats is gonna come up. or whenever 2 black cats, 1 cup.
Oh. What was that?
Can we avoid this conversation, please? I'd like to get away from this right now.
Oh, by the way, you didn't let me talk
Oh,
about.
Far Cry Primal's coming.
Oh yeah. What's that, Joe?
You didn't let me talk about Republic Commando. That was the other game I was playing.
There's a reason for that.
The 11-year-old first-person shooter. It's actually really, really great. If you want a Star Wars first-person shooter, that is the one to play. It's very good.
So
you
not
play
Battlefront
as.
I would honestly say the original Battlefront 2. That guy was fantastic.
I always played that in third person though. That was different. I don't know. Republic Commando was really good because it was really focused on squad-based tactics.
Yeah, and the thing is that was around the era when you had several good games because you had Jedi Outcast come around the same time, didn't you?
Jedi Outcast 2 was like 99. Jedi Academy was 2003, I think.
Was it?
Those were good too. Those were really good Star
Jeez,
Wars
I'm
games.
so behind times. Or not behind times. I have such a poor concept of times, I guess. I feel like those were only like a decade ago, and they're like.
You are right, though.
almost
The
20
Jedi
years.
Knight series, the Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy games, those are very good.
Yeah, Katarn is still one of the best Jedi ever. Just because
yeah.
he's like, I'm not Jedi, I'm not Sith, I don't feel like being held down by any of y'all fucking shit. I cast lightning and heal people at the same time. Yeah. And I'm a bounty hunter. Why not?
Yeah, those games are really good.
But yeah, in any case, though, let's go ahead and get moving on to our first story here. So obviously, a lot of people have been talking about this, and we even mentioned this before the podcast here. So Chris Schlurf, one of the lead writers for Mass Effect Andromeda, confirmed that he had in fact left BioWare. Not certain actually when, because that was kind of gray area. But so a couple things going on with this one. Number one, that would be another member of the Andromeda team leaving BioWare after Chris Wynn and, well, I guess Karpyshyn came back, but whatever. The thing is that Chris Schlurf went to Bungie, so we got two sides of a coin here. Number one, would this be concerning for anybody looking forward to Andromeda that you have a lot of the people very publicly leaving BioWare? And number two, does this mean that Destiny might actually have some good storyline coming to it?
I'm more concerned about will Mass Effect have a shit storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny is already messed up because it's Activision. Activision has already managed to just. Bungie's not great either, though. Like, as much as people, I don't know why people sing Bungie's praises.
It's the same thing with Blizzard.
Bungie are not that good.
People tend to sing the praises of Blizzard, and it's like they are one and the same with Activision at this point. Now, and
the thing is, Blizzard's almost they're very autonomous in the Activision kind of structure.
That's because they make so much money. It's like that.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like Activision pretty much just is like, you guys do your own thing. You guys are stable money makers. Just do what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's essentially one of my things on here is that as Sean Stone, made a good point on Chris Schlurf, did he finish the story? It is very likely that he did. It didn't sound like he left it prematurely. It sounded.
I'm pretty sure this late in development. A lot of the stories
Yeah.
finished.
Yeah, I would hope so because it's due next year.
Yeah, the thing
Well,
is
this year.
it's
Well, they say like early as Christmas, as late as like around the time Mass Effect 3 came out.
yeah, they may try to get a November release. We'll see.
See, Nick knows there's no redemption for Destiny.
Yeah,
It's
that
like
is.
if you find yourself even slightly enjoying Destiny, go play Warframe. It's what Destiny wants to be.
I
It's the
still
good
prefer
version of
Destiny over
Destiny.
Warframe.
Destiny's or Warframe's better.
Meh.
Warframe
Warframe
is the
That's
has
going to be all
Destiny vicious
opinion.
it could
I'd
be.
still pick Destiny a hell of a lot more than Warframe.
Ugh.
you guys hear this, right? This
The
passive
only
thing going
reason
on
you
here.
can prefer Destiny is if you are really that hell bent on having a first-person shooter, because Warframe
No,
is
I don't really like the level design or gun mechanics in Warframe.
Yeah, one thing
You
I will
didn't play
say.
that much though. You didn't get to
And you
experiment.
only played the Destiny beta.
I,
Where
Oh,
even
I've seen enough of Destiny.
yeah, no. The
I've seen
thing
enough of
is,
Warframe.
the
I can
the
use
th-
the same argument, dude.
the thing is that I played a pretty significant amount like through the beta and after the beta. Now I didn't play after the Taken shit came out. Well,
John knows.
like the thing is that I played enough of it to realize this is boring as fucking hell, and it like the gun mechanics were great. They were solid BioWare kind of Halo-esque gun mechanics, like some of the way they kind of had the powers, but it was just like there was some fundamental problems that
It
just
was
made
like I'm a different class. I get a slightly different grenade.
yeah, exactly.
It's
That
like
was
my special ability is a fucking grenade.
well, I mean, they have a more to that, but my major problem was I felt like the game even from the start would have been better had they limited certain weapon types to certain classes, like the warlock being able to use like lighter weapons like pistols or whatever, and the titan, I think it's called the titan, whatever, the heavy dude,
There was just so little variety.
should have been able to use the heavier weapons. Kind of stick to archetypal classes, and then the hunter, of course, getting sniper rifles and that sort of thing, because that's or battle rifles, sniper rifles, that sort of thing, would have fit a hell of a lot better with the whole scheme of the game, and would have
Well,
made having different classes feel
I,
different.
I feel like the most egregious part, and it's something that I noticed, when I played the beta, and I don't, even with all the expansions and such, I don't see it like changing in such a way as being significantly different from what I thought in the beta. Is that they simply don't have enough content. They don't have, and not just they don't have enough types of guns or whatever. They don't have enough expansive content. Like the game, it just
The
doesn't
core
feel like there's
gameplay
much
loop
there.
I agree with Travis there.
The core
There isn't
gameplay
a lot
loop
of content there.
Like
is
like
That is probably the
very
biggest problem with
repetitive.
Destiny.
weapon types, like for a loot grinding game that it's supposed to be, it does not have the loot variety that is required to keep people playing for extremely extended
That is
periods
very
of
true.
time.
When
Yeah, I agree with that.
when you look at like say for example like kind of the more classic loot games like Diablo, very specifically Diablo is kind of the quintessential original loot game. It's not the first. I mean, there's been plenty of them around,
But
but
it's one of the good ones, like everybody loves Borderlands.
it's one of the more lasting, I should say. Like even Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and now Diablo 3 more recently, they have had a kind of a very good formula for the loot, type gameplay where yeah, there was a decent storyline to the game. First of all, there was a fucking storyline to the game. For the
I don't
people
have
that
time
care
to tell
about
you
it.
why I
Oh
don't
my
have time to
gosh.
tell you about the story.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, is not a lot of people paid attention to it, but the lore was pretty decent.
We actually
The
finished
story
the
was
basics
all
of the
right.
story, guys.
Yeah,
We're
they
gonna
had-
resell it to you now for $60.
Man, like that, I think that is even bigger than the loot. That's the biggest thing for me, is the fact that when it
The
was being advertised,
darkness.
whenever it was being advertised, I thought it was going to be a story-driven game.
Yeah,
That's what their advertisement was telling me.
Yep.
That this game is going to have tons of lore, deep story, massive world that I get to explore, and NPCs that are going to talk to me, and places that I'm going to go and be able to feel like this is significant. and it just wasn't there.
Right.
There wasn't gun variety, there wasn't equipment variety, there wasn't ability variety, there wasn't enemy variety. It just there's not enough content. Even if the base gameplay is decent, you gotta have stuff there to back it up.
Yeah, and I'd like to
I
point
mean,
out, by
there.
the, I'd like to point out to Zyphon there. Yes, Kev is a console peasant, but that's not an excuse for not liking Warframe because it's on all current consoles and it's free on all consoles. So no real excuse there. But yes, I agree with what Travis is saying. Is that it advertised and put itself out as a great story driven game. It came out as Total Biscuit calls it, a looter shooter. Hate that fucking term. Sorry, I have some fundamental disagreements with Total Biscuit in regards to his playing of Warframe and kind of whatever. We'll leave that alone. Anyway,
We already went over that. Like,
yeah, we already went over that. But the thing is that it doesn't have loot variety. The core gameplay loop of it is it's not nearly, to me, it didn't seem nearly as engaging as Warframe does. And when I say that, Warframe has a lot of mind-numbing game modes, let's be honest. Anybody played some high-level defenses where it encompasses you sitting up on a high fucking platform and bombing the shit out of the defense
I fall
point.
asleep playing defense.
Yeah, there's definitely some
I doze
really
off.
yeah, there's some really boring as hell game modes in there. But there's multiple fucking game modes. You don't have to play defense. Which
Not
is
only that, but the weapon variety. Like
Destiny
has
and
Destiny
the character
has
variety.
rifles and
You
shotguns.
have 3 classes in Destiny. You have like what, 20 something in Warframe.
There's like
not
27
not counting the primes because they're just repeats. Like
There's
that's
a new one coming out pretty soon that's going to be Egyptian based,
yeah.
which is supposed to be able to summon up minions.
But the
has
point
no
is,
shields,
the
bunch of
point
new
is
unique mechanics.
that Chris Schlurf going to work on the Destiny project, I sincerely hope does lead to them actually coming out, like, because the universe seemed interesting. It seemed to have potential. Let's be honest, it did seem a lot like Warframe, but
It reminded me of Mass Effect, like the way they promoted it. Like I was really looking for a universe like Mass Effect.
yeah, and it's closer to Warframe's universe in all honesty.
I
But
mean,
I don't know, like even the way it started up just felt washed down. I hope that he can make something happen with it. I give him all the props in the world. He has got a steep ass fucking hill to climb. Like it is so.
Well, I mean, there's nothing really there, so he has like this huge palette to work with.
Well, I think another thing that really annoys me with Destiny is it's a game that felt like there was more there. Like it whenever I played it, I kept getting this nagging feeling like there's got to be more. Like where is all this content that I feel was here at one point in time?
yeah.
And I still see that constantly whenever I watch videos of the game. I'm like all of this stuff. It just seems like it got watered down and watered down, and executives came up and they're like, look, people are not gonna like enjoy this. It's too complicated. We gotta streamline it. And there was somebody that just kept coming back and be like, no, we gotta streamline it more. It's gonna be more streamlined, simple.
I think the problem is you had two different mindsets. Too, you had one side that really wanted to make an MMO, and the other side that was afraid of an MMO. And you got this,
Yeah.
I guess, what they call now an MMO light, which is kind of bullshit. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, you're trying to cater to two different crowds. Activision's like, we want to make another first-person shooter, and we want to make Call of Duty. And
I'll be frankly
how can we
honest.
take advantage of the Call of Duty type of market that we already do well with?
Yeah, no, I'll be straight up and honest that I think it is honestly a smart demographic to try, because I know a lot of people that play MMO games
Destiny
and play
is designed.
shooters.
Mhm.
Destiny's design is actually incredibly intelligent. They knew what they were doing. It
Yeah.
thrives on just the core gameplay loop of just the Skinner box. It is a fucking treadmill upon which, the whole point of it is just like you need to get the loot, you need to grind for the loot. which is one reason why I say I think Warframe does it so much better. Is that even though Warframe can be a grind, a lot of the equipment in the game, you can go and pick out what you want to get. You can go, okay, I'm going to buy the blueprint for this weapon. It'll tell you what you need, and you can go and you can farm for the materials for it and craft it. It's not like you're just playing a mission to have it randomly drop.
Yeah, but let's be honest. One of the major
I'm not
problems,
saying it does it for all that, but I'm saying for a lot of it.
One of the things of my major complaints with Warframe. Now, obviously, I'm a veteran player at Warframe. I'm well established, have a lot of good shit in that game. But if I'm a brand new fucking player, I just picked up Warframe tomorrow, like Kev. Get through the tutorial mission. It explains to you the basic in-game mechanics, in-fight mechanics. Once you're dropped out of that, first mission, putting your shit back together, here's how you jump and slide stuff, then you're dropped with all of this fucking information in front of you, and bam, there it goes. Now, continuing on, what Sean Stone was saying on there is, with Chris Schlerf gone from the Andromeda project, yes, there might be some concerns about continuity of storyline with Mass Effect Andromeda if they made Andromeda 2 or whatever they would call it, sequels or DLC. Because obviously when you have a second writer step in, you end up with Mass Effect 3, which, don't get me wrong, there was some really strong storytelling points in Mass Effect 3, but I think it's pretty clear that the story was going in a different direction before Karpashin left.
Well, yeah, there's a difference between having compartments of good story as opposed to the overall storyline in general being completely derailed.
Yeah, it's like
you can have bits of good story inside of a train wreck.
Yeah, it's essentially Mass Effect 3 to me felt like a patchwork of set pieces. Like each planet you had within itself had some,
I thought it just felt rushed.
Like priority to Chunka. Holy shit, that was great. That actually felt really good. Like as far, but when you take it out of the whole story, it's just kind of like, it felt like a fucking Michael Bay film, a little tiny miniature half-hour Michael Bay film.
Again,
explosions.
Mass Effect 3 I just felt was so just rushed. It was just rushed.
See, I feel like
everything wrapped up
the
too
game
quickly.
Is 3 different parts. I think that's part of the problem. It's like you said, you have the Tuchanka, then you're wrapping up the Geth. You're like, well, some set of people wrote that part, and it's very deliberate. And then you have your story going on with the Citadel, but it's like it doesn't flow right.
See, like
it's patchworked.
Like in my opinion, I still feel the game is a masterpiece up until the Star Child. That's what blew it for me.
I felt it was I feel like even without the Star Child, it had issue. I think what happened is, if it had had a good ending that had really wrapped up everything, it would have let people overlook a lot of the issues. But because of how much of a slap in the face the ending was, it suddenly made you realize every other problem.
Well, it
made every other problem more apparent.
I still wish they would have stuck with the dark energy story too.
Well, like the Quarians, I thought Rannoch was handled horribly because the Quarians were just like, oh, we decided to attack them now of all times. It's just like,
no, okay. Let's
I don't know. I thought it felt rushed.
Well, here's my thing is that honestly, I wouldn't have had a problem with the Star Child so much if more or less you met the Star Child and the Star Child did not give you if he gave you no choice. He said, your actions have led to this conclusion, and if you're a renegade, paragon, whatever. That it more or less fixed your
awesome.
Fixed your path.
Where doesn't matter how you've been acting throughout the game.
I wrote a blog post outlining that complaint of they did this in so many of their fucking games, like Star Wars KOTOR 1. Where it's like you can be the evilest motherfucker on the face of the planet, but then you hit that one choice that I'm not going to spoil in case anybody wants to play KOTOR because it's a good game, but you have that one choice that you can immediately 100% flip-flop, do a 180, and bam, you're the best Jedi, the most angelic Jedi on the face of the planet. It's like,
that's why I liked KOTOR 2. It's because KOTOR 2 didn't do that. They were flat out like, if you were a dark Jedi, if you were Sith, you were being a bad guy, you go to meet the Jedi Masters, they're not suddenly like, Oh, you can redeem yourself if you want to. No, they're like, hey, you're evil and you've been doing some evil shit. We're going to fight here because you are not a good person. It's like, you make your decision. You don't get to flip-flop all throughout the game at the end.
Pretty much. So, but the thing is, yeah, in any case, my thing is if they would have fixed the path, like you just met the Star Child at the end, and that Star Child was the vehicle by which it tells you the ending of your due to your actions. It doesn't give you that final choice. It just says, "Hey, you were a renegade. Guess what? The Reapers are going to be destroyed because you're a renegade. You go Paragon. Hey, guess what? You're going to replace me as the AI because you were a paragon of good." Or
but I like the other two endings better, though. That's the problem.
No. Here's the thing: here's where you work those in. If you straddled the fucking line, played the gray route where you didn't go renegade
Which the game
or paragon,
didn't encourage you to do it. Anyway.
Exactly. If you straddled the line, which is a tough thing to fucking do in BioWare games, you straddle the line, you get the synthesis ending. Or aside from all of those, at any point in time, whenever the Star Child is giving you the ending, you can shoot him and rejection ending. So you can still work those in there. It can be done. My whole thing is I feel like it shows that BioWare is afraid of fucking commitment whenever they do that shit because they don't want a player to feel like they're locked in. And it's like that encourages replayability.
Yeah. Part of this is the executive pushing and meddling, in that the fear is, and it's a fear that a lot of AAA games hold, it's the fear that if we sit and create multiple endings that are vastly different from each other, they don't want to, and like I disagree with this, I'm telling you that this is their viewpoint, I believe. They're looking at it like, we don't want to stop players from getting access to all the content on one playthrough. Like, they're like, what if someone only does one playthrough? They'll miss like half of the game because it's very different if you choose a different route.
But you're going to miss different things anyway.
Yeah,
I'm not saying this is right. I'm just saying this is their viewpoint. This is the executive viewpoint.
Right, but let's look at like Tuchanka. Depending on your final choice with Morden, especially if Rex is still around, that can completely change. Of course, if Rex is alive, if Rex is dead,
BioWare isn't as bad as others.
Well, no, and the thing is that one of the things that I loved about Mass Effect, as far as like conceptually, like the shit where I had to go back to the first fucking Mass Effect game and start an entirely new playthrough because
I do that shit anyway.
Because my first playthrough, fucking Tali committed suicide. And I didn't realize why. I didn't understand it, and I realized it's because I fucked up something, I think, in Mass Effect 2.
Well, no, you could make a choice, and she'll survive without fucking. Regardless of what you do in Mass Effect 2, it's just it's that choice in the moment.
Mm-hmm. But like, it's essentially
spoiler alert: if you choose the Geth, she's gonna die regardless.
Yeah, but the major thing is there's a choice in her priority mission, her loyalty mission in Mass Effect 2, where you have to make a particular choice, or else she can. If you try to play neutral between both of those parties, she will commit suicide as a result. If you don't take the massacre the fucking Geth route. I wanted both to survive. But that's the thing, is that was great conceptually. I like that idea of punishing you.
Are you talking about the big choice in her loyalty mission?
Yeah. So essentially, my thing is that I love the idea of a game where choices matter, not BioWare's fucking choices that matter TM bullshit.
See, this is why I will bring up Spec Ops The Line.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Mass Effect and other games like this could benefit so much from having player choice that isn't a binary dialogue.
Don't spoil Spec Ops The Line, because that's such a twist.
That game is so amazing.
I'll bring up one choice in particular that's later on that doesn't spoil the actual story.
Are you talking about
but
the
it
Hangman?
Demonstrates the Hangman.
Yeah, you've talked about that one before, but it's
okay.
It's a good example. Yeah, it's a good example.
Yeah, you have the choice where it's like you can either shoot the civilians, like where your soul. They make it out to be. They're like, oh, you can either shoot the civilians or you can shoot the soldiers. And what's nice is you can choose. No one tells you about this, but if you can actually figure it out, you can shoot up into the air and scare the civilians off without actually killing any of the innocent civilians.
Right, which is something I didn't even consider.
Yeah. See, choices like that are meaningful. Like they're beyond just a binary dialogue choice.
Right.
Like your actual.
The Witcher 3 did that actually pretty well too. Or something I was making choices
Yeah.
where I didn't even think I was making a choice.
Yeah.
Well, as Sean is helping us out with time management here, thanks a lot, Sean. We will get moving on to our next story here. He's organizing the stream for us now. So our next story, the Dragon Age executive producer, Mark Dara, was kind of probing around subtly, or not so subtly, about a Dragon Age turn-based strategy game akin to XCOM. Obviously, the backstory on that one is anybody who's a big Dragon Age Origins fan or got into the tactical cam of Dragon Age Inquisition that it really wasn't designed well for, but knows that there's a lot of strategy or attempted strategy in that game. And Origins was turn-based, even though it didn't look like it.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you guys, if I can remember my question, is essentially, do you guys think this would be a great idea? Because obviously XCOM is a very popular title, but Dragon Age is not really popular among those turn-based strategy fans as much, right? So do you guys think that would be a good idea for them to do?
If they do it right.
I'm not interested in a turn-based tactical
Just
Dragon
because
Age
you
game.
aren't.
No, yeah, but that's what we're saying. Like,
Yeah,
in order
what are
to
you
say
guys'
that idea,
opinions?
how am I gonna justify it? I think it goes away from where they've been pushing the series. Where
I
you
feel like
focus
it'd
on
be
like this more
spin-offs of it.
action-oriented game, and now you've got these people in, especially Dragon Age Inquisition. If you take them back to Origins, where I don't think the combat was really good, particularly on consoles, I don't think it really went on consoles.
Well, of course, it
It's
was
going
bad
to
on
alienate a
consoles.
lot of people. Yeah, well, once you play Origins on PC, you see that combat was built around PC.
Yeah.
It was built around mouse and keyboard. So how are you going to make that again work on consoles?
No. That's totally doable. Like, that is not hard at all. Like, anybody who thinks that you can't make a strategy game on a fucking console is just trying to nix the idea. Listen.
No,
So,
I'm not saying that you can't. I'm saying, like, I don't want it to turn out like Origins, because I don't think they did Origins right for console.
yes, that is correct. But I will point out that was a while ago. Like, Origins was what, 2007?
9, I think.
2009?
2009.
So the thing is,
See, I think I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say, I think that saying that it won't work for consoles is a bad excuse not to do it.
Mhm.
I mean,
I'm all for everybody
if
having
the
access
audience
to
is
it.
there, like it just depends on whether they do it correctly or not. Because
That's
it
a
would be
big
harder to do it with a lot of primarily melee-based units. Because XCOM works a lot because it's ranged combat with a
Oh
lot.
no,
But
no.
I mean,
Let's be honest. You've got archers. You've got mages. You have plenty of
oh, I know
potential
you
for
can.
ranged
I
characters.
know. I'm just
in
saying
there.
you have to really.
Siphon,
It's different
Steambox.
because, like, it's just if they do it correctly, because it is a different, like, that medieval combat and how they practice their warfare was different than what you'd see in a modern guerrilla war between human soldiers and aliens. I mean,
Like, I
it's
think
just if they do it correctly.
What's up,
I'm not
Travis?
sure. I'm not sure I discussed this on stream before, but I know I've discussed it with you guys before. But like Warhammer 40K would be a
Yes.
great XCOM game.
So
like that
looking,
would.
Yeah.
no, I'm so looking forward towards Total War Warhammer.
Oh yeah, I know a
Fucking
lot of people are.
amazing.
But I want to see like a
You guys still
small
haven't
scale.
played Vermintide with me.
I still haven't bought it.
Warhammer game
Yeah.
there.
You want to buy it? For
That's
me,
not
I'm
really.
just saying.
That's not really the part of the Warhammer universe
Yeah.
that I'm kind of interested in.
You're talking about the. Yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
But
Mhm.
yeah, but
Maybe
I
a fire
definitely
mage, it lights myself on fire.
like that's something that would really work in an XCOM setting well. I'm not so
yeah.
sure about Dragon Age being an XCOM style, but a Dragon Age like turn-based strategy game in general, I definitely think it could work.
You know
Going
what I
back
want to
to
see?
Kev,
Mass Effect tactical game.
yeah, right.
Mass Effect would be amazing.
Mass Effect, I think, would work really well in that. Yeah, I think Mass Effect would
I
work well.
think the problem is Mass Effect would seem almost like a blatant ripoff of XCOM.
Yeah, it would have to be, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would almost seem like it is,
Which
and I'm
is
pretty
sad,
certain
'cause it's otherwise,
if there's
so
not
good.
with all the custom character mods out there, if there's not a Commander Shepard one out there, come
Hey,
on, guys, you're fucking
one of the
sleeping.
best features about
Can I get a
XCOM 2
Garrus
is the
mod?
character pool.
Garrus mod, yes.
Is-
So he
Right,
he can
right.
Can he do
character pool.
calibrations?
yes he can calibrate everything for us.
Right in my character pool, I have Commander Shepard, I have Fem Shep, I have
Nice.
Miranda Lawson, Ashley Williams, Caden. I have all like the
And
humans.
can I have biotics?
in there.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can get Sonic Soldiers.
Well, here's the thing. I'll lay it out for you guys. When I was saying like XCOM, I wasn't necessarily meaning like completely copy and paste the character models and the level design and then leave
Well, of
all the
course.
other mechanics the same. So I'll lay it out to you. There's been a lot of strategy games. Obviously, a lot of my history is with strategy games. I love like a lot of strategy games. So the thing is that with turn-based strategy in particular, there's been a ton of strategy games I've played that are turn-based strategy games that make use of like, melee and ranged troops in a mixed setting like that. And I actually think they're great. XCOM even does limitedly do that. You do have stealth characters. I can't remember the name of it, but whatever the armor that lets you walk through walls and you can get the little stealth blade so you can like execute enemies from behind and shit. It's definitely workable. It's just one of those things where I agree that it be done right. I'm not so concerned about the trying to copy XCOM. I doubt they would do it. My concern is
That's the thing.
EA.
Like, Dragon Age would have to be a very different game than XCOM.
Well-
That's all I was implying. It's like
My-
I like the idea of a tactical / strategy game for Dragon Age. It's just it has to be very different from XCOM because they're very different styles of games.
Yeah, my more concern would be is the kind of, if you look at Dragon Age Origins, right? It like I could see that game kind of transplanted into more XCOM like style of limited action points and that sort of thing. I could totally see that being done.
See now,
Okay.
my question would be: are we talking about like full on strategy game? Because something like Total War is very different from XCOM. One's
No.
tactical game.
I'm not. I'm talking about like, for example, I was playing this week Invisible Ink. It's
that's
a
more of a
turn-based
tactics game.
Yeah, it's a turn-based strategy game. You have limited action points per turn. You can do certain
Yeah,
actions.
it's just
can-
because I associate strategy usually with something like not necessarily grand strategy, but
you have, and
like-
I was explaining this to Sean. So you have real-time strategy games. That's like your
Okay, yeah.
StarCraft games, which you are
those
live
are the ones
doing
I
stuff.
tend to get a little bored of.
Yeah.
myself. I
Then you
trouble-
have grand strategy like Europa Universalis, where you're pretty much on the campaign map all the time. Diplomacy, blah blah blah, all that stuff is really heavy.
Crusader Kings too.
I don't know. I haven't played that one. But then you've got a hybrid between real-time strategy and grand strategy in Total War because they mix a little bit. They throw you down onto a specialized map where you have control your troops on the battlefield type of thing. That's real-time strategy. But then they also have the campaign map where you're engaging in diplomacy and that sort of thing. So that's the grand strategy part. Then you have turn-based strategy, which is your action point derived systems like XCOM and those sort of things. I love all of them. As you can tell, like I'm like a nerd when it comes to that shit because I love those games. It's like
I tend to like turn-based tactics myself a lot, but I have trouble playing a lot of strategy games, especially grand strategy.
yeah, because they require a lot of focus.
When you say grand strategy, you mean stuff like
They just-
Rome Total War?
They feel
No,
kinda
no, no,
slow to
no,
me.
man, you totally.
I don't play a lot of
Well, no,
strategy
you know
games.
what,
I'm trying to understand.
I explained it.
I have trouble with real-time strategy.
hear-
but
I
I
can
can
hear
actually
you,
play
Joe.
some grand strategy.
Yeah, so let
Depends.
me break it down real quick. All right, so StarCraft real time strategy.
Right.
Europa Universalis is grand strategy. Total War hybrid.
I don't know that grand what? I don't know.
Grand
Grand
is literally like grand strategy. It's exactly what it sounds like.
No,
Grand.
I was talking about, I don't even remember the name of the second game. he was
Europa
talking about.
Universalis is like
Yeah.
it's
Same guy. It's Paradox,
Praxis?
isn't it? The same
or
guys
Paradox.
who did.
Yeah, it's Paradox. Yeah.
Same guys who did Crusader Kings.
Well, in
They
any
said it's
case,
like Crusader Kings
grand
out.
strategy, you are on think of it like Risk versus trying to think of a better example. Risk is essentially your grand strategy. That's like you were on the overall map. You're looking at the whole world as a whole. You're doing diplomacy. You're
So-
doing trade stuff. You don't actually get into the fights. The fights
Like Civ.
consist. Civ
Yeah,
is
direct
another.
from
That's a
the-
grand strategy. Yeah.
Okay.
Direct from the Wikipedia, a grand strategy war game is a war game that places focus on grand strategy, military strategy at the level of movement and use of an entire nation, state, or empire's resources.
Yes.
Which,
Real-
yes, so I can play grand strategy. It's real time strategy that I get bored of.
Yeah, see, like Civ, Europa Universalis is probably that is the pinnacle of grand strategy. That has long been considered to be the best of the best when it comes to that. Civ, they're not bad by any means. It's just that Europa is so much more in depth. Has
I
such
like
great
Crusader Kings myself.
But like I said, I'm a fan of all of them. But turn-based strategy is what they would be going for with Dragon Age. Because that's what it caters to. That's what Origins was. It just had a slightly different in-game mechanic to make you feel like it was live action when it really was not.
Mm-hmm.
But let me go ahead and get moving on here and remember what my third story is because I'm so disengaged here.
Morty, you're garbling a little bit.
Yeah, it's because I turned my head.
Okay, you're all right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, let me go ahead and update the notes because I'm got distracted talking about strategy games. So, in any case, our third story here was just kind of an interesting thing that I was reading about today. So, IO Interactive, they were talking about Hitman's one of the key features of Hitman, the new Hitman game coming out, called elusive contracts. So, I'll throw it out there straight. Essentially, how these elusive contracts work, to give everybody who didn't read the story, doesn't know what it's about, is essentially it's a a dynamic contract that pops up in the game. So it's like you're playing your story mode, whatever. This is a dynamic event that happens in the game that has a expiration time in real time. So it's kind of like to kind of give you a summary, it's kind of like some of the random targets you get in Assassin's Creed, like I'm trying to remember one of the ones that was
The ones where they run down the street.
yeah, the run down the street. Imagine something like that, a dynamic event like that, randomly occurring. But the key difference is it's actually a contract, so you're actually intended to kill the person or whatever. It's not just like, oh, this guy's got money for me. No, it's a contract. You get a folder with a little dossier video for them. You get some clues on their whereabouts, that sort of thing. They do not pop up on your mini-map, and your instinct vision, or like Assassin's Creed Eagle Eye vision, will not reveal them. So it would be like you're actually a hitman and you have to track this person down by being able to recognize their face and their appearance, and then you essentially have to track their movements and take them out. Here's the best fucking part of it, is it disables your save feature whenever you engage in these missions. So you can't save scrum it. If you fuck up the mission, they're gone. Goodbye. You'll never see them again. If you don't kill them the way you like, let's be honest, we've all done that before, you can't reload. You can't save scrum on it at all. And I'm like, that is actually pretty fucking amazing. So my whole thing on this is that feature a little bit too ambitious, or could this be the way that Assassin's Creed should have been from the start?
I like that idea. I like the idea of, sometimes punishing gameplay. And that's what that is. It's a gameplay mechanic that punishes players for making mistakes, and that's fine. Get better.
So I like the idea. I think the concept is very good. However, I'm skeptical because we've already had a very large disappointment from this in the Radiant quest lines of Bethesda, which are rather similar, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that sounds good on paper, but in practice tends to get very, very repetitive. It tends to be very menial and really just not as much fun as you would have thought it would have been.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
Is definitely they actually have to take the time to actually make each
one
like it
unique.
takes a little bit more effort than just having one NPC randomly pop up and be like, oh, you'll get rewarded if you kill him. Like, some investment has to be there, like some explanation of why.
Oh no, and that's one of the things they talked about.
If
Is
they're
that
doing that, it sounds
it's a very
great.
it's a very fleshed out, like in the article, they actually talk like that this is a fleshed out. They try to make it for this 5 minutes of fame. Exactly. Is that I guess apparently my Nightbot is spamming Kev's channel in the chat.
That's okay. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Go, go, go.
But in any case, though, one of the things that's actually really cool about it is that for the 5 minutes of fame that this little randomly generated character gets, they try to flesh out a reason for them being there. Is this guy a drug dealer yeah.
Be good.
But that's my concern. I'm right there with you, though. Come on now, let's be honest. Let's take it back to Peter Molyneux for the first Fable game. He talked so much shit, like dynamic sun tanning to dynamic muscle growth. Like, you would have thought this was the most fucking amazing piece of technology on the face of the damn video game earth, and then Fable came out.
Same thing happened with Spore, right?
Yeah.
Spore was supposed to be much more than it actually was.
Which is sad because it's actually. I thought it was a decent game on its own.
It's not a bad game, but it had a lot. Like, they talked a lot more, and like you would have thought it was the best shit around. It's with Peter Molyneux. We kind of figured out since then that the guy is just so passionate about the games. He gets so excited. He starts talking before he's actually discussed anything with the people that tell him that can't be done yet. It's like he's just like, and we're gonna have this, and we're gonna have
Peter
that.
Molyneux is this fucking head in the clouds. Like, someone,
yeah, he's such a dreamer.
Any game he works on, they need to go and just like put a leash on and be like, no.
Don't even tell him
I
what's happening in the
it.
game. Just stop him.
They need to
like,
have,
Peter, you're not talking to the press, okay?
Yeah.
You're
need
not
to have
going to talk to them.
press-
Damn it, Peter.
they need to have a press release that's just like, all right, guys, look.
Don't listen to this dude.
Things Peter Molyneux says are just things that are like flitting through his mind. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think gamers
don't look
have
at
learned to
anything
understand that.
Just ignore him. He's
Don't-
off his meds again, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah,
don't look at his statements as fact or as like realistic like things that we're looking at. Think of it as an insight into the mind of an ambitious developer.
Overly.
The mind of a schizophrenic man.
No,
Yes.
because
Well, who said that?
if you think about it,
Whoa.
Joe, if you think about it, many developers have this same thing. They just don't go to the press about it, right? Like, as
Yeah.
a designer,
Of
these
course.
things do
Peter
go
Molyneux
through
is-
your head. And that's the good thing. That's how we get good ideas.
Yeah.
But you just can't like put them out as fact to the press because that's
Yeah.
not a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, though, is that so this would kind of mark a very interesting twist in the kind of, because obviously we've seen a lot of Assassin's Creed, we've seen more Hitman games in the past. Like, what the hell was he talking about? I don't know. Anyway, I think he's something like that. But anyway, so I think that it would be an interesting development, because one of the things about being like an assassin, right? You have to be good at scouting out an area, have to know the movements of your target. You don't have cheat eagle vision like Assassin's Creed, where it's like, I can magically, switch my vision over and they glow like a beacon. So I know where they are, even through walls.
Because casual mode.
Because casual mode, yeah. It's like that's one of the things that's always bugged me about those games, is that they have the instant find feature where, you've got a mini map. Fucking mini map.
Oh yeah, the only way to play it is disabling those stuff.
Yeah.
If you're gonna play a Hitman game.
Well, Hitman or Assassin's Creed. Like, I feel like I want to be able to identify the target just by looking, like, hey, there, I see the guy.
Yeah.
Like, track him down, do some detective work, find a good choke point to spring a trap on him. And those things, if you were, for the sake of argument, you were a real life Hitman or, real life assassin, these would take you days. Maybe
Well, see, the
weeks.
thing is, and at least I can talk about the modern Assassin's Creed games. I never got into Hitman. Is everyone's a twin? Everyone's a twin in different clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of need that mechanic. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to kill like
See,
five bald big guys.
this is why I think the Hitman Blood Money is the one I played that I think is my favorite of the Hitman games. And with Blood Money, a lot of I think the success with it came to figuring out targets is each level. It's basically a puzzle game. Like Hitman Blood Money was basically a puzzle game. Each level was carefully and handcrafted. You know, there was no procedural generation. NPCs aren't procedurally generated. It's like the NPCs are placed there deliberately, even when there's like a big party going on. It's like everything's handcrafted to such attention to detail to set up this elaborate puzzle for you to solve of how you're going to take this guy out.
Yeah, and there were so many varieties, like poisoning the little girl's underwear, so that whenever the creeper snuck in there to
what?
sniff them. Yes.
Okay, there was a target who was in protective custody, and he was having a barbecue. No. The FBI agents who were protecting him, one of them was a pedo, went into the teenage daughter's room and would smell her underwear. You could go in there and put like chloroform on the underwear so that when he went to smell it, he would knock himself out and then steal his suit as a disguise.
So
I hope they gave him a lethal dose.
Yeah, no, it's just that game was so great. Like it was so
there were
before
so
its time.
many like out of the way things you could do.
Yeah, like it was so great on how they handled it. And like I said, I have high hopes that they will do well. Like obviously they took a little bit of a hit. Get it?
I see what you did there.
It took a little bit of a hit for the whole like episodic thing. And that still concerns me a little bit, but I'm hoping that they can turn it into something unique, because I don't necessarily feel like Hitman is really fitting for the episodic thing. But
I'm also worried because Absolution, like as much as Absolution isn't bad, but it feels almost like they were like they tried to take some stuff from like Deus Ex almost, because like you had the linear levels where it's like you got to get through the levels. It was less about assassination and more about just being sneaky and sneaking through areas.
Yeah,
it was
like where
it wasn't a puzzle game as much anymore.
Like and come on now, there was just like the breaking of suspension of disbelief type of thing. At what point I disguised in my electrician's outfit, I stand there staring at my clipboard and then the circuit board on the wall and the clipboard and the circuit board on the wall while I grabbed myself some food, like talked to someone on the phone, came back, the guards were still walking around me. Apparently whatever I'm looking at there is so interesting that no one bats an eyelash when I stand there for like a half an hour.
Plus Absolution had that dumb mechanic where it was like, if you're wearing an electrician's uniform and you were trying to wear that disguise, every other electrician in the level would automatically, if they saw you, become suspicious. It's like, are you kidding me? Every electrician in the world recognizes other electricians?
Yeah.
Well,
no. If you wore a chef's outfit, every other chef would recognize you.
The part that bugged me a little bit was the focus or the instinct mode where it was just like, I can instantly disappear from the sight of everybody just by like tipping my hat down. That doesn't look suspicious at all.
I can only do this for so long. This is so stressful. Putting my head down. And it's like suddenly no one recognizes me.
That's actually one of the many things they
need to have the magic glasses that make you invisible to everybody.
Something. And by the way, nobody notices the giant fucking barcode on the back of his head,
Somehow.
We're looking for
Have you seen the world we live in? People are getting a lot of tattoos
nowadays. Whenever I'm a guard, right? And like the commander guard says, we suspect there might be an assassin coming to get him.
Yeah.
He's got a barcode on the back of his head.
Like that's a defining feature of him. Like if a lot of the time they're aware that he's in the area. It's like we know Agent 47's around here. It's like, by the way, just look on the back of his head. You'll see a giant fucking barcode. Yeah. Also, the guy's bald as hell. It's like,
and it's like, oh, this electrician, he has a barcode. Oh, that's okay. He's not an assassin.
Not to mention the look on his face. It's like, you think it. Even though he doesn't have much personality, it's like you think a professionally trained hitman would be good at kind of like blending in with the crowd, so at least pretending they aren't a fucking gargoyle. Like the look on his face when he's sneaking around is just, it's just like the most severe look on his face. He's buff as hell, bald, giant bark on his head, and just has like the scowl all the time. It's just like
maybe he just got out.
something.
Maybe it's still though. It was just like you are not inconspicuous, Agent 47.
Not at all.
Yeah, well, I think it's like, they have such a way to go for him, and I really don't think that the Oliphant is the way to go with Hitman. Let's just agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
God, that movie was so bad. I don't know. I guess the newer movie that they remade it again was even worse.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot they put a Hitman movie out.
It's as bad. Don't worry about it.
They're
Yep.
both. There's
wasn't
two
worried about it.
Hitman movies, and they're both bad.
How do you even mess it up? It's a fucking movie about a hitman. How do you mess it up?
by having
Ow!
subdermal armor? Subdermal fucking armor.
How do you mess this up?
What the
It's like-
fuck? What the fuck is subdermal armor? Explain this to me, please. I desperately
It
want
makes,
to know.
it makes sense
Do
in
I
something like Deus Ex.
do I need to go into the world of Deus Ex to do this?
No,
Yeah, I think
Deus
that
Ex is
upstairs.
different. Deus
Makes
Ex
sense.
is future tech, right? So there's science fiction thrown in there.
Deus Ex is future tech for the sake of being future tech. Like they don't
Yeah,
really,
it is.
at least as much as I played it, I was like, why is this happening? I couldn't get into it. I wanted to.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Well, the thing is what I don't know. I just yeah, that movie was bad. Anyway, so high hopes for what they're shaping up for Hitman. I really hope that's not boring. I hope they're not biting off more than they can chew.
I would say wait till all the episodes come out and talk to a friend.
Yeah, or I mean, heck, if they come out with something fantastic for the first episode, the raving reviews, just don't fucking pre-order it. Hell, don't pre-order anything. Don't pre-order anything.
That's my whole thing. Like wait for the whole season because I think it's coming out like over a month, like Resident Evil did.
Yeah, something.
So
Why so serious? Anyway,
I'm an assassin.
so let's get moving on to our evergreen topic for the day here. So our evergreen topic kind of links into one we had before talking about piracy, and this one will kind of follow a similar theme. So we're going to kind of talk about our thoughts on eating, if I can say the damn word right, cheating, talking.
Can you get the words out tonight? Do I have to read it?
Cheating, hacking, modding, anything of that sort. Like, what motivates gamers to do this, and potential links to pirating as a symptom of poor service. When is it okay to use cheats and hacks? So let's
If
go.
it's a single player game.
Well, let's go around. Start with Travis there.
Start with Joe because he's the expert.
Okay. Oh.
Eh.
Hey, let's be honest. If none of you motherfuckers know up, down, down, left, right, BA, or left, right.
Left, right, BA, select, start.
No, you don't
I
do
know
select
that-
start
that's
unless it's
reference,
multiplayer,
right?
motherfucker. Bam.
I know. I always did it with multiplayer.
That's only multiplayer. Sean and I had this
You
discussion
old
earlier.
farts, I have no clue what you're talking about. Well, actually, I know
Konami,
what
if you
this
don't
is,
know the
but-
Konami
Konami
code,
code.
you fail at life.
Yeah, you felt.
No, I'm just
Yes.
not an old fart.
The Konami code is
My
I-
10-year-old son
I
does
don't-
the Konami
I-
code.
I don't-
Feel at life.
I don't memorize code from scumbag
I
companies.
know, who does that?
Well,
no.
that was
This is
Konami
before
was
they were
good.
scumbags.
This is when Konami was
See?
like one of the best in the business.
Again, just old farts. Old farts.
My 10-year-old son knows the Konami code. You fail at life.
Yeah,
That's because
like-
you're an old fart and you made him learn it.
No, I didn't.
No,
He was
it's
telling
because
me.
it's iconic. It is
Yeah.
it is part of video game history. The Konami code.
See, Joe doesn't,
See, I know what
Joe
it
doesn't
is.
realize when people bought Game Genie and Game Genie gave you
Yes.
all the shit that's now
Game-
DLC.
A hex editor, a fucking hex editor. It taught people to fucking hack, like straight up.
Mm-hmm.
It taught you to fucking hack games. Like that, and that was
my shit.
yeah. No, I'm just saying that's where it started. But so Travis, like first of all, what are your thoughts on? What do you think motivates someone to cheat at a game?
How much time do we have? Like 15 minutes. There's a lot of different things, right? Like, and it all boils down to like, personal gratification, whether it's, gratification for, completing things, or if the act of quote unquote beating somebody, no matter what methods you use, there's many different reasons why somebody would hack or cheat or use codes.
Well, I mean, just
Sometimes it's malicious.
general game exploits. I think he's getting at too,
Yeah,
because a lot of
I
people when they
mean,
look
any
at
means of
hacking and cheating and modding, they don't think about sometimes like using like a glitch in a console game, like the Call of Duty maps that came out recently. There's a map Splash where I don't know if they fixed it yet or not, but there's like a point on the map where you can get to and you glitch through like the scenery so people
Right,
can't see you, and it's like the most ridiculous head glitch ever, where you can still kill everyone, but it's a bitch to get you there.
right.
yeah,
And it's like, what inspires people to do it? What inspires people to like corner camp?
yeah,
Well, I mean, sometimes it's just like funny. Like I did some like glitch through walls and back in my Call of Duty 4 days just because it was kind of hilarious. Most of them, it wasn't very effective because you could just get killed by an explosive or something that somebody threw down at you. But it was still kind of hilarious. Um,
Also, I think people cheating, especially in multiplayer, because they trash.
Well,
right,
okay, so and I'll
right,
throw this out there. It's like, for example, like with Oblivion pre-patch, they patched this out, but in Oblivion there was a way to hack, like essentially it was exploit. You would do a certain thing to pretty much have infinite gold, or
the
like I said, the
Dorian
Konami code.
glitch, the
Yeah, it was
Dorian
But
glitch.
I
yes, the
mean,
Dorian glitch. Yeah.
I don't know. Am I the only person? Like, I don't have a problem as much with it with single player games. Or what was it? Joe was telling? Joe did this when we were playing Dead Space. We were playing Dead Space 3 to get around the microtransactions.
Well, no,
Yeah, the single player microtransactions they had, you could go in with a trainer, and their microtransactions were literally buying the resources you needed to use the gun modification system that's in the game. The most interesting part of the game. So what's great though is you could just use a trainer and give yourselves all the resources. You didn't have to bother with their microtransactions.
But that's a good reason to do it because that was anti-consumer bullshit.
well,
Because I
no,
wanted to experiment with the guns. It's
and
like you could
doesn't that
not.
get to the crux of it though? Because in my opinion, it's just an opinion. I feel like that a lot of people that might exploit or cheat at a game would that not call back to maybe the game not being right for that person, or maybe the game being outrightly a poor service of some sort, like you were talking about Dead Space. It was a very anti-consumer move, so that might encourage someone to exploit the game in a way to
Mm,
like get around that because it's a bad
It
move.
depends on the
it depends on the
level of
person.
it too, because it's
Yeah,
like
like
XCOM 2. Since you guys wanted to bring it up, you can go right into any and change a lot of settings. You can change the value of how much damage your guns do. You can change how much resources it takes to research the next tier of weapons. You can change the health and aim values of aliens. All these different things. It's like I don't consider that cheating though. I consider it's like they're allowing you to customize your experience.
right.
It's
They
like
let that out there for a reason.
I feel like I want the game's difficulty to be tailored to me. It's like maybe I liked my guns hitting a little bit harder, but maybe I like the aliens having a little bit better aim. Like,
Let's be honest. How many people who edit the any files on that actually go in there and give themselves the disadvantage?
you'd be surprised.
Yeah,
No,
You'd
no,
be
people.
I mean,
surprised.
like we
I'm
were
not
saying
gonna
before,
say
it
that.
really
Most people
depends on the
want a
person.
challenge.
Like, what about people that use, say, like the
I'll give you an
gun that
example.
everybody knows is OP in Call of Duty, and they do that on console too, and on PC. GTA 5 Online, which is known for having a lot of modders and exploiters online.
Yeah. Well, no. The thing is
One of the
that
top one of the top mods for XCOM 2 right now is a mod that makes it so that alien pods have more units within them,
yeah.
so that there are more enemies to fight.
Well, no. And the thing is that I'm not saying that there aren't. Yeah. Like, are you playing on the hardest settings? That's what
No.
Sean says.
I'm not that good at XCOM.
But
I
no.
won't even
XCOM's
blame
hard
myself.
as fuck.
But no, the thing is that where I'm going with it is, for example, like let's take Mass Effect for example. You guys all remember that Hydra map, right? Where you could get up in the fucking corner, especially if you had the Demolisher with your pylon, and fucking just have infinite ammo. And just pop shots at enemies and them not be able to touch you, right?
And if you did accidentally get hit, they just drop you right back in the spawn.
Yeah, and then if you backed out of that, it will clip you out of the map and drop you at extraction point. And it's like you would think that people would just abuse the living hell out of that, and they didn't.
I saw a lot of people doing it.
I saw a handful of people, but as many times as I was on that map, I did not see nearly that many.
Or what about the
So-
rocket glitch?
Oh no! Now that there's something else, right? So the map exploits on that I didn't see get exploited that much, but holy shit, that rocket glitch. So
They
there's
tried
another
to patch
thing.
it like every week, and people kept finding a way to do it.
Yeah, like they kept trying to patch it out, but they were trying to like put gum on a fucking crack in a dam. Like, but my
But they
thing.
still never fixed the Vanguard glitch.
But and here's my thing is that where I go with that is at what point, like, I don't know. To me, it's questions on there.
I don't
That
even
missile
blame people
glitch?
for Rocket for missile glitching because it was such a grind. To
That's
unlock
where I'm
everything
going,
in
yeah.
that game. It's just
It was something to get them through the matches faster, so they could get their credits faster, get their shit faster. And at that point, as a game developer, you have to start questioning, hey, did we kind of balance a little too heavily on, or lean too heavily on the grinding? Because it's a whenever you're making a game like that, right? You have to balance between grinding and reward. You don't want them to get rewards too fast because then they'll finish it too fast and not buy as many microtransactions. If you make them grind too much, they'll get frustrated and quit more than buy microtransactions. So it's
It's
and
a balance.
And yes, it is very similar to Dragon Age. Is
Right, see, and they didn't balance it right because like we all have like I think 800 hours. Morty and Joe,
Yeah,
I think you
I've
two
got,
have
like,
over 1,000 on,
I've got like 600, and I still don't
and
have
none of
like
us have a
everything.
max manifest.
yeah, I have 1,200.
I almost had it on
1,200
the
hours.
console.
I had all
And-
the guns, but I didn't have them maxed out on the console.
I was at about 960 or 1,000 hours on Xbox. I had all the guns, all of them maxed except for the 4 most recent ultra rares they added with the final DLC,
Mhm.
and each of those was at least like rank 6. So I was really close.
And
to
how
max.
long has it been since we played the game? 'Cause I know we all got the game at launch, and I haven't touched it on console in probably about 2 years.
Oh, I haven't played it on console in like
At least a year.
2 years.
Yeah,
something like that.
the same with me, but that's mostly
So we
because
played it
my
for like
Xbox is dead.
2.5 years,
I need
and
to,
didn't max out a damn thing.
I need to get an power supply for my 60 so I can play some more. Unless somebody wants to buy me, the
It
buy
goes
me
on
the
sale
effect
so
PC.
often. I bought on
Get on
PC. I
PC.
got the Ultimate Collection
Hey,
with like all 3 of them for like
you know
$10.
what? I just can't justify that. Like, listen,
I played through the whole entire trilogy.
12 fucking 100 hours. Yeah, like Sean Stone said, 1,200 hours. My hair,
Oh,
you're still not maxed.
Here's the thing: on PC, I would have been in the same boat as you, but you can use Cheat Engine to give yourself like ridiculous.
And
amounts
there
of
we go.
credits.
And there we go.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
back to
Well,
the topic here.
Me and
Here's the
Joe.
thing.
And I admit I use it on PC too.
Well,
I would too.
have to
We
grind
spent
out
1,000 hours on
1,000
console. There's no excuse that our manifest couldn't carry over.
Yeah.
I have a
Right.
pretty
Other than
good.
they wanted to make us pay.
So Travis, what's up?
I have some experience, more recently as well. Well, there's still quite a while ago with Borderlands 2, where we, ended up creating modified saves with
Yep.
maxed out, characters
Because
with
it takes a
the
ridiculous
weapons,
amount of time to
with
level up a
weapons.
character all the way.
and the weapons the way that we wanted them. And we played for I don't even know how many hours after we had everything maxed and all the weapons we could ever want. We just spent tons of time running through levels repeatedly, trying to clear them as fast as possible.
Well,
Yeah, there's a lot
for
of variety
example-
to that game that's hidden behind the ridiculous grind wall it takes to get
Well,
legendaries in Borderlands.
I mean, even looking
That's
at
another
it this way, like with Oblivion, I spent, I want to say, probably damn near 1,000 hours into Oblivion, and about the same into Morrowind, about the same into Skyrim. Get them on PC. I'm not gonna lie, I fucking console command the living shit out of those. Just because I'm like, no, I just want to have my guy with some, and I don't. The thing is I learned my lesson. See, with Bethesda, they let you mod shit to the point where it's actually breaking your game. So, and as Zyphon can attest to his Morrowind experience, when he glitched his character up to having 1,000 speed or something like that, and it ran so
God.
fast it crashed his game every time he would take a step, even walking. It would just more or less glitch everything out. But the thing is that after a while, I did that too, but not to an extreme extent. I would just like literally mod my skills to where I wanted them to be as a kind of, just essentially as a role playing aspect. And then I would just play the game as that. But on PC, you could mod the shit out of it to the point where you're playing an entirely different game. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, you could do a lot of games like Bethesda. Like we were talking about Bethesda games, Fallout is very big into that. Skyrim.
Yeah.
Skyrim is not the same game once you mod it.
Oh no, that's the joke I made. Is it turned it from an open world RPG to a survival horror game. When you install Frostfall and Requiem and Hunterborn and Realistic Needs and Diseases, yeah, that shit gets like you starting off in that game. It is brutal. Like, oh yeah, there's this little crab here. I'm level 1. I can take a crab, no problem. And then you get wrecked, and you're like, it's a fucking crab. What? Yeah.
Crab life.
But in any
Crab
case,
lives matter.
so let's go ahead and let's get it wrapped up here because Kev's gonna wither away and die from hunger if we don't wrap it up soon. So let's go give our our final thoughts here. Travis, why don't you go ahead and start? Is his mic still muted?
No, I'm here. I'm just trying to prepare my voice. So my final thoughts on the whole like glitching, cheating, whatever you call it. Exploits are a part of games. They've been a part of games for a very long time. Love them or hate them. There's a lot of good and a lot of bad that can come from it. Personally, in my experience, it's been mostly good. I've had some bad experiences with hackers on like Call of Duty and stuff. I got over it real quick.
Right. I mean, is it like when people talk about, oh, don't play old Call of Duty even on PS3 or something because the hackers are everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, even with the hacking, it was kind of amusing for a little bit. The game was almost dead for me, anyways. That just it went out with a bang, right?
Mhm.
So
That's
So-
one way to look at it.
Joe, why don't you go and give us your final thoughts and also tell us where your Twitch stream is going to be too while you're at it.
Hashtag get Joel back on Twitch. He's on Twitch.
Not a whole lot this week. If you want to listen to good music, Transistor's soundtrack is phenomenal.
Yeah, if
There's
you guys
some
didn't know,
incredible music.
on Facebook, Joe will frequently put up posts about his thoughts on certain music that he's listening to at the time. It's very in depth, and you might find some interesting music to listen to.
Now we can get make a channel talking
So
about his music and his
TLDR, stalk Joe on Facebook and keep bugging him to get on Twitch.
games. That stalker lifestyle.
Yes. All right, Kev, shilling stuff.
Chilling. Okay, Kev the Gamer here. You guys see me on YouTube. I've been here every week. Not failing at hosting this week because Morty decided not to go get goodies. I hope it still itches. Other than that, I'm just playing games. I traded in my Black Ops 3 copy on PS4. I just wanted to get it on PC, man. Like, I got tired of the PS4's Wi-Fi, and I don't want to run wires to my house. So yeah, that's what I've been installing all night. So I'm playing that. Yeah, I know. Blah blah blah. Blah. Yeah, shut up. Other than that, pick up Street Fighter. It's good. Come get this L. Come get this work. I'm mating with Ken, and I might try Karen because Karen's a beast. That's all I got.
Yeah, so as you guys know, Kev likes to talk a lot of trash. He also forgets that I have this magical mute button so that I can mute the Skype call, and anything he says cannot be heard on the stream. Let that silence sink in. Let the silence sink in. Nobody can hear you scream, Kev. Anyway, anyway, you guys know me, Angelus de Mortiel. I'm back now. Yes, I took last week off as he likes to rub it in, but you know what? Deadpool was fucking worth it. I will say that 100 times. Go see Deadpool.
Yeah, go
Anyway,
see it.
anyway, as you guys know, if you want to catch the podcast here live every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern, you can catch it with Cams live here on my channel, where you see our ugly faces as we're making faces at each other. Or if you want to catch it with some gameplay backdrop, go over to Kev's channel. There'll be links in the description. You see him occasionally popping up in chat as Nightbot's spamming them. But we'll go ahead and get signed off here tonight, and we will see you guys next week on the Pixel Crashers podcast.